The weather outside is frightful, but inside it's quite delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it goat, let it goat, let it goat. This is that time of the year where I do my goat video, greatest of all time pens. And this year I have tried to come up with another interesting list of pens that I think have been very interesting. There will be some old favorites and there will be some new pens. One thing is very important to realize is this is my personal list of favorite pens. I've limited it to 10 pens. You will see some pens in there that you've seen before, and there will be some new ones too. And I have not limited myself to pens that came out in 2019. Again, these are my personal favorites. And what I mean by that is these are pens that I have found myself using a lot in 2019. So again, old favorites, but also a couple of very new ones, some of which have been launched in 2019. Now, just to get a few things out of the way, where are the pens for the common man? Question I've received. The video is not entitled Pens for the Common Man. Question, why are there no Mont Blancs and Pelicans? I don't have any. I don't use them. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them, they're just not my pens. But then it cannot be the greatest of all time pens, because if there's no Mont Blanc it's impossible. That's your opinion, not mine. What about pens that are not on this list but should be there because they are my personal favorites, and if you don't include them on your list then clearly this list is ridiculous? Okay, thanks for that input. Having said all of this, let's have a look at some pens. Now, usually I talk about them holding them up, but then people will complain about the fact that they can only see my face. So I'm going to do things a little differently this year. I'm going to tilt the camera down so you can have a really close look at these pens. Okay? And for the record, all of these pens have full reviews on them on my channel. If they're not public yet, they will be public at some point, but in principle there should be a way for you to get more information about any of these pens. I'm not going to really discuss prices. That's what the reviews are for. I'm just talking about why I like these pens so much. This is a very personal list. It's about why I like these pens. It's about the feelings these pens have given me and why I keep using them. Not a review, not what I like about it, what I dislike about it. Again, that's what I have reviews for. Having said that, let's get started. Okay, so the greatest of all time pens, 2019 edition. And as always, I like to think of this video as an overview of my personal favorites, and if nothing else, then maybe it'll provide you with a bit of eye candy. So in a way, I kind of like presenting the pens this way, so you can really have a good look. Okay, so the first one, I'm just trying to leave this pen in view. That's just a Limey Safari, just for size purposes. This pen is made by William Shakur in the UK. It's 3D printed, and when I reviewed it, it didn't have a name yet, but it does now, the Titan. I think this is a very fun pen, not just because it's 3D printed, but it's a large pen and it is really quite comfortable, especially given its size. I mean, you can tell just by looking at this pen and looking at the Safari. It is a bigger pen. It has a number 8 nib. This one happens to have a number 8 titanium nib, Bach ebonite feed. I like this pen because it is big. It is very big, but I find it comfortable. It is faceted all over, which I think is quite nice. Even the section is faceted. It works well, and I've also found these pens pretty fairly priced. So I have found myself using this pen a lot, not necessarily in an office environment, but I found myself having this pen inked up a lot at home, and that's where I have used it a lot. The next pen in the lineup this year is the Delta Roma Imperiale. Beautiful pen. This is another larger pen. This one was exclusive to Airline International. There are other Roma Imperiales in ebonite. This is a demonstrator, and I think this demonstrator really works. It has a piston filler, aka a captive converter, to be honest. And I have had absolutely no issues with that. Works really well and has a large ink capacity. A big pen. The section is not for everyone. It's quite bulbous and it's not comfortable to everyone, but clearly bigger, does post. And to be honest, I think this is just an absolutely gorgeous pen. I've also found it to be incredibly comfortable. For me, that section works really well. The polishing of, it's just an acrylic, is super top notch. So it is incredibly clear. You can see everything that's on the pen, on the inside. You can see the nib and feed clearly through the cap. I think it's fantastic. And again, another nice large pen, which is exactly what I like. Then on the list, the Leonardo Ferrari. I think I thought the Momento Zero pens by Leonardo, the flat tops, were beautiful, but I prefer rounded off top, so whether it is a torpedo shape or a cigar shape, I like that a bit better than a flat top. It's just personal preference, but I think this is a stellar pen. So just put it down just so you can see it right next to a Safari for size. This is not a huge pen, it's by no means small, but it's a very nice size, I think, for a lot of people. This happens to have a 14 karat stub nib on it. Of course, I will do writing excuse me, I'll do writing samples with all of these pens, but I found the rounded off, I'm sorry, I have to take a sip of water here. I found the rounded off, shape to be very comfortable. And these pens are also relatively affordable. Of course, a gold nib will put up the price a bit, but you can also get it with a steel nib, and that'll be fine too. But this material, this is stellar, and I absolutely love this pen. I've had this inked up almost uninterruptedly since I got it. Perfect size, very comfortable, stellar material. It's hard to go wrong with this. Okay, here we have an old classic, the Nummy Key Emperor. It's huge. What can I say? This is a pen that requires no introduction. Massive, and yet very comfortable. And yes, it's a Rushi, and no, I don't post it, but if you really feel like you need to, you can. It's big, large capacity, giant nib, and superb. Fantastic writer. Was a gift from Azita, so that makes it extra special. But I absolutely love this pen, and what I find special about it is that clearly it's beautiful, it's a Rushi, it has all those things going for it, but it's so comfortable. A lot of people are intimidated when I hand them this pen, but then when they hold it they say, oh, that's actually really nice, and it is. So a very expensive pen, but a lot of fun to use. Okay, here's a new contender that I think is superb. Another Leonardo. But this is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. So just to give you an idea, I don't have the regular Momento Zero here, but I have shown them side by side in my review. You see that it's a bit bigger than the standard Momento Zeros, especially the standard Leonardos, especially Momento Zero, which is flat top, so a little shorter. I think the Grande is great. If you like a bigger pen, as you know I do, I find this a fantastic size, and very nice, very comfortable, definitely a bit bigger than the regular ones, a bit girthier especially, and I think that is great. Makes for a really nice pen. This is the steel stub nib, very comfortable, very nice, and again, the materials that are used by Leonardo are very, very attractive. So I found this to be a beautiful everyday writer that I really, really enjoy using. Okay, a whole new one. I've only just reviewed this, but I definitely fell in love with it. Cross Peerless. This is the Darth Vader model, so a Star Wars tie-in. I won't go into all the details here, but they used a lot of detail. There is the chest box, there is ribs from the armor, from the boots, and there is a red Swarovski crystal to symbolize the lightsaber. What makes this pen really special in my mind is that it has a sailor nib and it writes beautifully. It's a medium. I think in my review I accidentally said it was a fine. It is a medium. It writes really comfortably, puts a fine line on the paper, as you often expect from a Japanese nib. It is a bit on the finer side, but it's a superb, beautiful writer. Quite wet, especially for a nib that is so fine, but it's fantastic. And I mean, if you like Star Wars, there's so much to enjoy here. You can barely see it, but there is, in very minor relief, Darth Vader's helmet on the cap. And it's a great size. It's all metal, so it has some heft to it. It posts very securely, a beautiful size, and a great writer. And I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I do, but I love it. So there is that. well, I don't think my list of greatest of all time pens could be complete without the classic Pens Lb5. Beautiful material, fantastic pen, great size, very, very comfortable to use. Cross-point nib, which is special, you'll see that in the writing sample. It does post if you want to. To be honest, I never use this posted. For me, it's a very comfortable size, unposted. I stick to my original saying, this is penfection. This is it. They nailed it, and this is it. They're very hard to get, I know that, but notice that the title of the video was also not pens that are easy to get. Here's this little guy. I got this from Enzo to review. This is the XS pocket fountain pen they do. Clip is optional. This is the limited edition, titanium. I'm going to be honest, I have had this thing inked up since I got it. I find it incredibly comfortable, very useful at work, fits in a chest pocket very easily without sticking out. Super nice, easy to use, tiny when you use it unposted, so I would not do that. I can't use it unposted, but post securely and you're ready to go. Cartridge converter, but to be honest, you would have to have a very small converter, so that would be something like those Caveco converters. I just refill a cartridge and I use it that way, and there's no issue, and it writes beautifully. So, very simple, very nice EDC style pen, and I love using it. It's tiny. I fell in love with it. It's just, I really honestly love that pen. Okay, next one. Armando Simoni Club. This is the Bologna Extra. I saw it for the first time and I fell in love with it, and I have not fallen out of love with this pen. Beautiful pen, larger pen, brown Arco celluloid, number 8 nib, Magic Flex nib. I don't really do a lot of flexi writing, but you could if you wanted to. Ebonite feed. This is also an ultimate pen, and I wish they were maybe a little bit more available, but superb model, and large and comfortable and heavy, and I love it. And did I mention it's Arco? Yeah, it's Arco. It's beautiful. The final pen in my my 10 pen lineup is another one that I had to put in. The Visconti Opera Master in the tobacco finish. Nib tuned by Mike Masayama. This is a perfect pen. Also bigger, heavy. The material is stellar. I honestly, I love this pen. I have it inked up a lot, and again, that was one of my, what do you call it? One of my characteristics for the pens in the lineup this year was it has to be a pen that I use, not just looks pretty or whatever. And all of these pens I have found myself using a lot. This pen is inked up a lot. This pen combined with B.R.E brown ink, in my mind, is perfection. It's and I'm obviously biased, but I love it. I think it is absolutely stellar. So it's fun to talk about these pens, but of course the real trick lies in using them. So let's do a bit of writing with these pens. There will be pictures of the pens in little sets on the website, but for now let's just do a bit of writing, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so William Shakur, who made this, this is the Titan I am derailing there. Let me go around the tripod. Titanium nib, Mont Blanc Irish green, and the titanium is really nice and flexy. It's just a fun pen, and the looks are not for everyone. Some people have been incredibly vocal about that in the review of this pen. That's fine, right? To each his own or her own, and that's absolutely fine. Okay. The Delta Roma Imperiale. This is Ackermann Delfts Blau ink. This is a fine nib, and it's very nice writer, very smooth. And it works. This is no flexo. It's a pretty stiff nib. A beautiful pen. Leonardo. That's one that I do like to post. Furore in the Smeraldo, the emerald finish. Stub nib 18K. And the ink is actually Leonardo turquoise. They have their own inks now. Very nice turquoise ink. Again, no real flex, but this is a stub nib, so you get line variation anyway, right? The Emperor. Yeah, this one I inked it. I may not have really primed the feed well enough. Broad nib. Okay, this can do better than that. There we go. Told you the weather outside was frightful. Stormy and all. The ink is Edelstein Star Ruby. Very nice nib. Yeah, I really enjoy writing with that pen. And before anyone starts to complain, yes, I know that was not the greatest performance. That was simply because I put ink in it and I didn't really prime the feed properly. I mean, it doesn't always write like this, otherwise I wouldn't like it that much. Okay. Leonardo. Momento Zero Grande. Whoops. B.R.E. brown ink, stub nib. Oops. Again, also remember that I'm reaching around a tripod here, so it's not that easy to write properly, and apparently I've set it up in this way that makes it extra hard for me. I don't know why today. Darth Vader. Darth Vader, obviously. This is Mont Blanc Corn Poppy Red. Wonderful writer, yeah. And this is the medium nib. Okay. Then, that was a pretty fine nib. This is not. Hello there. I'm going to leave it at that, simply because this is so much ink, but this is a superb nib. Check out the full review if you want to learn more about that nib and why it does that. Then we have 3 more to go. The Enzo. XS. Oops, pocket fountain pen. The ink is Edelstein Ruby again. Very pleasant little writer. And again, I just really like this one. It's so practical. The facets are really nice. Oops. If you're looking for something small, portable, this is really not a bad bet. And the this was again limited edition titanium, but you can get them in another material. I want to say aluminum, but I may reproduce that incorrectly from the top of my head. Those are very affordable. I want to say something like $59. So this is by far the cheapest pen in this list, and it performs really, really nicely. Oh, sorry, so I hit the tripod leg there. Okay, then we have the Armando Simoni Club Bologna Extra in Arco Bronze Celluloid. Magic Flex nib, that's a one size fits all, 18 karat. Ink is B.R.E brown. And there definitely is some flex to be had in that. Finally, the good old classic. Ooh, ho ho! We had some ink leakage there. We should clean that up later, but they should be ready to go. Just making sure it writes. Yes, I didn't dry out the nib of feed. So then, the Visconti Opera Master in the tobacco finish. Broad 18K nib, B.R.E brown ink. Nib tuned by Mike Masayama, the O-Sensei. Forgive the terrible handwriting in all these writing samples. I am actually reaching all the way around a tripod, so this is really not that easy. Try it out one day in a rainy afternoon, you'll see what I mean. But I hope this has given you an idea. So these are my 10 greatest of all time pens for 2019. I realize that's a contradiction in terms, but I do these videos every year. I hope this has been entertaining and a little enjoyable to you to watch some of these pens in action. I would very much like to thank you for all your support this year. I really appreciate it. This was the year I passed 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is really fantastic and amazing, and I can't even begin to express my gratitude for that. So I really appreciate it. I hope you'll stick with me for another year. Many more reviews to come. I'm recording this at the end of November 2019. I already have video scheduled till the end of March 2020, so there's a lot more cool stuff to come. Thank you so much. I, in advance, wish you a very happy New Year. Bye!